The old library, with its towering shelves and dusty tomes, was a haven for scholars and a nightmare for the superstitious. Whispers followed those who dared to enter, tales of forgotten texts that drove men mad, and of librarians who vanished without a trace. I, a young, ambitious historian, scoffed at such tales. I sought knowledge, not fear. My research led me to a rare grimoire, rumored to contain forbidden knowledge. Deep within the archives, under the watchful gaze of a taxidermied owl, I found it. The leather-bound book was heavy and cold to the touch. As I opened it, a chilling draft swept through the room, and the owl's eyes seemed to follow my every move. The words in the grimoire were written in an ancient script, each symbol a chilling reminder of the book's power. As I deciphered the text, a strange sensation washed over me, a tingling in my fingertips, a buzzing in my ears. I felt a presence, watching, waiting. Suddenly the air grew thick with a metallic taste. My head pounded and the words on the page blurred. I tried to close the book, but my hands wouldn't obey. Then I heard it. A whisper, soft at first, then growing louder, filling the room. It spoke of forgotten memories, of knowledge lost and regained, of a price to be paid. When I finally managed to close the book, the world seemed different. Colors were muted, sounds muffled. I tried to recall the events of the day, but my mind was a blank slate. The grimoire, the library, the owl, all had vanished, replaced by an empty room. The whispers continued, though, a constant reminder of the knowledge I had gained and the memories I had lost. The air hung heavy with a sense of dread as I approached the Blackwood Library. Locals whispered of its sinister reputation, tales of patrons vanishing within its hallowed halls, their voices forever silenced. Curiosity and a desperate need for a rare 16th century manuscript on alchemy had driven me to this foreboding place. The library itself was a labyrinth of towering shelves, each groaning under the weight of centuries-old tomes. Dust motes danced in the single shaft of sunlight piercing the gloom, illuminating cobwebs that stretched like skeletal fingers across the ceiling. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and forgotten dreams, a sickly sweet aroma that clung to my throat. As I delved deeper into the labyrinthine maze, the silence grew heavier, punctuated only by the rhythmic thump of my own heart against my ribs. It was a sound that seemed to amplify in the oppressive stillness, echoing through the endless rows of books. Then they began. Whispers, faint echoes of conversations I couldn't place, voices from the past whispering secrets on the wind. At first, they were barely audible, like the rustling of leaves in a distant forest. They seemed to emanate from every corner, every shadowed alcove. The voice of a laughing child, the hushed tones of a lover's quarrel, the desperate pleas of a dying man. Each book I touched seemed to amplify the cacophony, the whispers swirling around me like a menacing storm. Panic seized me. I stumbled through the maze of shelves, bumping into stacks of ancient tomes, my heart hammering against my ribs. The whispers grew louder, merging into a single, terrifying voice that seemed to emanate from within my own head. It spoke of forgotten memories, of lives lived and lost, of a past I never knew I had. The voice was a torrent of information, a deluge of images and emotions that weren't my own. I saw faces I didn't recognize, felt emotions I couldn't name, lived lives that weren't mine. Finally, I stumbled upon the exit, the sudden silence deafening after the onslaught of whispers. As I fled into the daylight, the world outside seemed muted, the vibrant colors dulled, the sounds of the street muffled. I felt a strange disconnect, as if a part of me had been left behind in the library, forever trapped within the echoing whispers, a prisoner of memories that weren't my own. The Blackwood Library had stolen a piece of my soul, leaving me forever changed, forever haunted by the voices of the past. The rumor of the Book of Oblivion had followed me for years, a seductive whisper in the undercurrents of the occult world. They said it held the power to erase any memory you desired, a tempting proposition for someone haunted by the past. I, a man perpetually tethered to the ghosts of regrets and lost loves, was a prime candidate for its allure. After years of relentless pursuit, I finally located the book in the heart of a forgotten library, tucked away in a hidden alcove, guarded by a decaying gargoyle. The library itself was a labyrinth of crumbling shelves, a mausoleum of forgotten knowledge, where the air hung thick with the scent of dust and despair. The book was bound in what appeared to be human skin, its surface cold and clammy to the touch. The pages, filled with strange, swirling symbols that seemed to writhe and shift before my eyes, exuded an aura of unsettling energy. My fingers brushed against the book's icy surface, and a wave of dizziness crashed over me, the world tilting violently on its axis. I felt a strange, tugging sensation, as if invisible hands were reaching into my mind, pulling at the very fabric of my being. My heart pounding like a drum against my ribs, I closed my eyes, willing it to erase the pain of a lost love, the sting of betrayal that had haunted me for years. The world dissolved into a cacophony of sensations, a swirling vortex of colors, a symphony of distorted sounds. Then, silence. When I opened my eyes, the world seemed off. Colors were less vibrant, muted and lifeless like a faded photograph. Sounds were less distinct, muffled as if heard through a thick layer of cotton. I tried to recall my name, the faces of my loved ones, the simple joys of a life lived, but my mind drew a blank. It was as if a vast, empty void had been carved out of my memory, leaving behind a chilling emptiness. I was a stranger in my own life, adrift in a sea of forgotten memories. I wandered the streets, a ghost in my own body, unable to recognize the faces of passers-by, unable to recall the taste of my favorite food, unable to even remember the color of my own eyes. The Book of Oblivion, I realized with a chilling certainty, had not erased a single memory. It had stolen them, replacing them with an empty void, leaving me a hollow shell of a person, a prisoner in my own forgotten mind.